The story begins by telling us about superheroes, fictional beings with powers that everyone loves. As a result, films featuring these characters gross around 3.5 trillion won annually. Additionally, their comic books have sold over 85 million copies, and the theme parks inspired by them have already welcomed more than 515 million people. It turns out that all these incredible things are nothing more than pure fiction. They are completely false. At this moment, we see a happy family with a son asking his father to take him to see his hero. Suddenly, while walking, the two look up at the sky and see a strange figure floating. The little boy then gets super excited and shouts that it is a real superhero. His father is curious and wonders who that being could be that made his son so happy. People around also notice the figure but think it's just a recording of a movie. But a guy in the crowd laughs and says that normal people don't understand anything. He then shouts with a smile on his face that that floating man is a real superhuman. A photographer comments on rumors of the existence of heroes and prepares to take the first photo. He then asks the superhuman to strike a different pose for his camera. The mysterious being asks if a pose like that would be good, and something terrible happens to the photographer. With that, a girl who was nearby is covered in a red liquid and goes into shock. Her eyes widen in sheer terror as she realizes the horrific situation he finds himself in. Everyone around starts screaming in terror when they see that the supposed hero was a murderer. The crowd panics and starts running desperately away from that place. With the crowd screaming for help, the villain smiles and speaks to the children in a sinister manner. The terror on a man's face is evident as he screams desperately over and over again. Soon, the noise stops and the crowd calms down a bit, still very scared about the situation. The superhuman then makes a sign for silence and asks everyone to listen to a sound. Then, with a creepy smile and red eyes, he reveals his true intentions. In the sky, everyone sees several fireballs falling at high speed towards the city. At that moment, all of humanity was observing the beginning of its inevitable end. So with the emergence of a real superhuman, the world faces an apocalyptic crisis. The person responsible for all this just smiles, thinking that mass destruction is a really cool thing. On the second day, the western United States is completely destroyed by it. The next day, it is Greenland's turn to be completely wiped off the map. On the fourth day, northern France turned to ashes with 57% of the world annihilated. In just 5 days, that single being managed to cause all this global destruction. In response to this, governments around the world formed the Global Allied Forces. With that, they quickly approved a counterattack against the only superhuman. Meanwhile, the cause of all the chaos was relaxing peacefully on a paradisical beach. The man lying on a beach chair seemed to not have a care in the world. He was so relaxed that he even drooled a little while taking a nice nap. The choice of the Allied forces was simple and clear. The solution found was a 100-megaton hydrogen bomb dropped right on top of him. With that, a gigantic explosion illuminates the sky with an extremely intense light. From space, a satellite observes the massive destruction. With the explosion, 3 neighboring countries disappeared from the map completely that day. But the superhuman who took the bomb head-on didn't even get a scratch. Meanwhile, at the White House, the situation was one of pure tension and utter despair. Breaking news shows that the villain has appeared and revealed his name as Friday. The President of the United States is shocked that even the nuclear submarines did not work. The leader named James Logan wonders what the true identity of that being is. At that moment, one of his men enters the room and announces that Friday is in the Capitol. Without thinking twice, James Logan orders everyone to go to the Capitol. There, he prepares for the meeting surrounded by heavily armed soldiers. One of his guards offers him a vest, but he refuses, saying it wouldn't do any good. He then adjusts his tie as he needs to show confidence to the whole world. James then walks towards the building as he now represents all of humanity. Upon arrival, he introduces himself to Friday, and the two formally shake hands. The villain then smiles and says he was so anxious that he couldn't even sleep properly. With his eyes shining, the president ignores the provocation and asks what he wants. Friday repeats the question with an evil smile on his face, showing his satisfaction. He then responds that he wants him dead and attacks the president without any mercy. Friday says he's dying to see how the humans will react to their leader's death. Upon seeing the scene, the soldiers begin shooting at the villain. However, the bullets do not cause any damage. They simply ricochet. Friday then turns to the cameras that are broadcasting everything live to the world. He begins to tell a sad story about how he used to rummage through the trash to eat. His mother became ill and died because they had no money, and his father was shot dead by the police. The superhuman says he was very miserable and that the world never cared about him. Then, he sarcastically asks if the story isn't touching enough. And with a crazy smile on his face, he reveals that everything he just said was a lie. This live broadcast was enough to throw the entire world into complete chaos. But even with all the despair, a small spark of hope still existed. Deep in a snow-covered forest, we find a secret underground missile base in Switzerland. A scientist reports that the Neptune Spear project will be ready next week. The commander says that the time for the final battle has finally arrived. At that moment, the roof of the base collapses with a deafening explosion. Friday appears, 250 meters underground. The commander orders Dr. Zhuanggan to evacuate with the civilians, passing the leadership to him. Yakin insists that the doctor must survive to rally people for the future, and the commander turns to face his fate. Friday mocks the commander for being so nice. Despite the fear, the soldiers remain firm. The leader tells his troops it was an honor to have led them, holding a detonator as they prepare for the final fight. The scene then shifts to a snowy forest where a man shoots a rifle, hitting a deer. The young man's name is Dawa, and he is 27 years old. It has been more than 5 years since the Friday incident. Walking through the ruins of Seoul, he steps on an old poster of Friday before arriving at his house. Inside, 2 little boys, Bang Junik and a blonde boy, are fighting over bear-shaped sweets. Dawa looks exhausted seeing the mess. He remembers when he met them 4 years ago. He was looking for noodles when 2 men threatened him. A blonde guy attacked him with a hammer, but Dawa hit him in the liver while dodging. He then found 3 children and a sick woman hiding in a bathroom. They attacked him with a broom and a squeegee, and little Junik even swung a baseball bat, but he accidentally hit his own friend instead. Dawa ignored the fight and checked the woman's fever, giving them medicine from his bag. Eventually, they followed him, and the 4 of them began living together as a family. Back in the present, the woman who was sick praises Dawa for the hunt. She comments that his body has improved a lot, leaving Dawa embarrassed. Later that night, they look at the stars on the rooftop. The woman worries about supplies and the danger of going to the market. Dawa calms her, saying he wants to get something delicious for Junik's birthday. The woman asks if it's too difficult for him to take care of them alone. Dawa reveals that they are the first and only real family he has ever had. Moved to tears, the girl jokes and asks if they are husband and wife now, since they are a family. The question takes Dawa by surprise, and he turns bright red as the story continues.